So glad to have you here today. It's the full moon, and I'm really enjoying preparing this Sagrada full moon sessions. I think it's very important as a community to bring the spirit of the full moon and the ritual once a month so we can create this beautiful energy where all of us can participate and take a little bit of time to go over important things such as breathing, meditating, getting to know our plant friends, and getting to know each other as well. So if you're there, I would love to have you say hello in the chat. Um, Again, I'm super happy and excited to share this session with all of you today. You can see my roses back here. They're so beautiful. And today we're going to be talking about the Aries full moon, the Libra season, and the Rose Materia Medica. The reason I want to educate and bring these sessions is so that you can know the ingredients that are in our products. And rose is one of our big three. It's one of my ultimate favorite herbs. And I think nowadays, where everything is everything is dismembered, right? Like if we go to the doctor, we go to the head doctor or the stomach doctor or the skin doctor, um, that has been like a norm now. And when we work with plants, our plants are our allies, and the plants on the whole plant is offering us something. And I feel like it's really important for us to honor the plant as a whole. So, for example, these beautiful roses that we have here and that we're going to talk about today, they just they are very medicinal, yes. And when we take the medicine from the rose and ingest it or put on our skin, we have great benefits and great results. But also, when we see a rose, right? When we look at a rose, that beauty is already doing something for us. When we smell a rose, that fragrance is already doing something for us. And the rose is the perfect example for this. But every single plant has something to give us on the whole spectrum, not just on a little part. And I'm bringing this up because over the weekend I was talking with people, and you know how like plant medicine is becoming more and more popular, which is great, and I absolutely love that. However, they're talking about turmeric and how turmeric has great anti-inflammatory effects, and again, this view of separating things and having more of an allopathic view of things, which is like, okay, I have a symptom, I take an herb to fix the symptom. And that is not necessarily what we're trying to achieve when we are working with plants. When we are working with plants, we want to see everything as a whole. So rather than taking turmeric, which I also love, but this is just an example, right? Or rose, in this case, that also works for inflammation, it's really important to go deeper and dig what is the cause of the inflammation. Like, what are you eating? How much are you exercising? How is your breath? Are you breathing really shallow and really short? Are you getting enough sleep? um, what's going on in your life? Are you enduring some extreme situation right now? Are you coming off of an illness? There's like so many things that are really important to take in account, so we see our body as a whole and us as a whole in the physical level, but there's also the emotional level and there's also the spiritual level. And the plants are beings that have all those dimensions too. So it's really, really important that we think of our plant friends and allies as whole beings. And then we see the medicine and the beauty of a rose from the petals, that we're looking at this beauty and making us go, ah, how beautiful, how gorgeous, from the scent that is bringing some sensation in us, right? Some pleasant, because the aroma, the fragrance is so amazing. And then ultimately grabbing those petals and drinking a tea out of it, or anointing ourselves with the oil, but with a lot of love and reverence. And ideally, this is in an ideal world, you would plant your rose bush, tend to it, communicate with the spirit as you care for the plant, and then you harvest the petals, and then you make your own tea from your own plant, and that will be such an amazing journey. Nowadays we just go to the store, grab a box of tea, put it on water. We don't even see the contents of the tea bag, right? We just put it in there, and we might see it when we pour the hot water on. But that is part of the disconnection we're living in, and it is what it is, right? We're in these times. It's better to drink the tea that way than not drink it at all. But it's important to think of the plant as a whole, as a living being that is our friend, that is our ally, and it's supporting us through the time and the seasons. So I chose the rose because I said already, it's one of our big three ingredients that goes in our product. And the other reason is because we're entering Libra season, and this is it's a great plant to illustrate the season, right? And if we tune in into the cycles of the earth right now, we're in fall. You can see the beautiful trees turning color and the leaves starting to fall. And that's the time, and we're getting prepared for the winter. And the rose is going to be a great ally for this transition from fall to winter. And let's check out this presentation that we made with a lot of love, so we can go deeper into what's going on with the season and getting to know the rose a little bit better. So this is, I love this picture. I took it somewhere. I'm obsessed with roses, as you can tell. But it's really what I'm saying, right? If you look and see like the texture of the petals, the colors, that it's already doing something really healing for you. Let's take a second, because for some reason my presentation is not moving. Let's start by just taking a quick deep breath, and you can focus on the roses back there. See the beauty. Just take a deep breath. And then try and feel the softness of the rose. Just that. As you breathe in 11 times, do this 11 times, and just feel the softness of the rose. Try to imagine going into the rose. And if it's the aroma, what is giving you a sensation right now, or the texture or the color, just note that and allow everything that is not love and relaxation, just fall without judgment. And then just breathe that 11 times. You can close your eyes. And do it 11 times. And as you are connecting with the rose energy, you can open your eyes, and we'll start the presentation I have ready for you today. So we're going to start, we're going to be talking about Rosa Damascena, which there are other types of roses, but we're going to focus on this rose today, which is the rose that we use as a base for our serums, along with rosemary and calendula. So the rose, when you see a beautiful flower, but it's really It is medicine for the body, the heart, and the spirit. The energetic properties of the plant itself, when you apply it, whether it is topically or you ingest it, they're cooling, they're moistening, they're a little bit astringent. And the biggest quality that I love so much is that it soothes inflammation. It's really great for inflammation, and now inflammation is a thing. We're exposed to a lot of pollutants in the water, in the environment, too many processed foods, and rose is very good to soothe inflammation. On the emotional level, if you smell the rose, if you see the rose, if you are working with the rose medicine, it really helps to open up constricted emotions. And it's a really good plant to restoring harmony where there has been agitation. So this has to do with the frequency of the rose. Is the highest frequency of the herbs and of the flowers is the, I would like to call it the queen flower. And it brings everything back to normal, to like where it's very harmonious. So it will make like something really agitated, like you're in a bad mood or something really traumatic happened. Rose is your ally, whether it's anointing it, taking a tea, looking at it, smelling its fragrance. Rose is gonna bring everything back to normal, to harmony. And it's associated with Venus because it's beautiful and it denotes love, right? People that love each other, it's very customary that they bring roses, like red roses are a sign of love, and they're so beautiful. Also, energetically, there's this receptivity and this sense of protection that brings that the rose brings. So I would love that after this, you take the time and for the season, right? Share your energy with the rose medicine. Drink it, apply it, look at it, see what comes and how you can work with this beautiful gift that is the rose. Roses have been used through history from ancient Egypt to folk traditions. In Egypt, it was used for sacred offerings to the goddess Isis because it symbolized love and rebirth. In Greece and Rome, garlands were used to adorn the rituals of Aphrodite and Venus when there were festivals or during ceremonies that were offered for beauty and pleasure. And this is super important because we're going to go into a little bit of detail later. But um, this plant is very Venusian, so and very yin as well. It's very um, it's connected to the water element, and it's really important. It helps bring up the feminine qualities, the female energy, the softness but fierceness. And we'll just go into more depth when the time comes for that. But I just wanted to say that now. In Persia, um, they started distilling rose water, and this pretty much is where um, the whole rose oil and the tradition of the rose water started. Really amazing rose water is the Persian rose water, and it was treasured as a medicine and perfume for the physical and the spiritual healing. And then in medieval Europe, rose was grown in monasteries in their gardens for this healing qualities, and it was offered to Divine Mother Mary, and it was they were used for digestive medicine, cardiac tonics, and very like emotional for the emotional humors, they called it. And we can trace it all the way to the folk traditions everywhere, where rose petals were carried in sachets or scattered in the homes for protection, for romance, for blessing. So throughout history, in any culture that you really think, roses have had like a really, really important place in the history of humanity. And I think this is a great medicine for all of us to stay in touch with and have this rose help us through the change of season. So let's talk about a little bit about the protective and healing qualities of the rose. So on the physical level, we already mentioned that it's anti-inflammatory for the skin and eyes. It's a tonic for the heart and the reproductive system, and it's soothing for sore throats. In the emotional level, we can use it to calm grief, to heal heartbreak, to open the heart while protecting the heart from overwhelm. And on the spiritual level is a protective charm because of the highest frequency that has and awards of negativity. It is really helpful purifying the energy field and strengthening boundaries while keeping the heart open. And for me, this part is key because I've been working really, really hard on keeping my boundaries. And sometimes when we work on our boundaries, our hearts shut down. So Rose will help us with ease to open our hearts while we keep our boundaries in a loving way. This is a really nice rose meditation practice that I would like to do real quick, and then you can repeat as many times as you want, right? You can have a rose in front of you, you can have the image of a rose in front of you, or you can just imagine it. So you're gonna sit comfortably, and the rose can be fresh, could be dried, could also be a drop of oil. And then you're just gonna close your eyes and breathe the scent, and immediately you're going to feel your heart opening. And if it's the image that you have in front of you, you're just going to imagine that you're smelling the scent. Mind is very powerful, and all the meditations or rituals, you can do it with your mind as well. And then you're going to visualize a rose blooming in the center of your chest, and the petals unfurling every time you inhale. And with the exhale, you're going to allow the rose to radiate a soft pink light that's going to surround you like a protective shield. And we're going to do this 5 times. So on the inhale, from the chest, the petals are unfurling. And on each exhale, the rose is radiating soft pink light that surrounds you with a protective shield. And then just see what the rose is bringing. Just let the rose teach you. And with no judgment, you can observe what is coming up, whether it's love or protection. And roses both softness and strength. Roses have thorns, right? So, and the petals are the softest thing. So she's reminding us that tenderness is not weakness. And throughout this season, you can repeat this meditation, visualizing the rose blooming from your heart and the petals unfurling as you inhale. And as you exhale, this pink protective light coming, surrounding all your field. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. And little by little, you're going to come back and feel your skin and your toes and your fingers. You're going to take a deep breath and come back to your room. And I'll be happy to share this presentation on an email so you can have the instructions of this meditation for whenever you want to practice it. I'll give you a couple more breaths so you're back into the room. And I would like to talk about the rose medicine for this season. Because the sun is moving into Libra, and Libra, we know it's the sign of balance, beauty, relationships, and justice. And Libra is ruled by the planet Venus and is the same planetary archetype that rules the rose. And Libra and rose both call us into harmony, softening our connections, but staying at the same time rooted in our self-worth. And during the Libra season, I have chose the rose because it's our ally, and it's going to remind us that love is very powerful when it's balanced with protection and discernment, right? We were talking about boundaries and self-care. It's really important too, and keep ourselves protected in all the levels. So today, this is so happy. I'm so happy, and it's so amazing that we're having this little session today because it's the full moon. And this is a harvest and a hunter super moon in Aries. What this means is that the moon is going to be bigger than usual. It's going to appear larger and brighter. And what it does on an energetic level is that the energy is more available to work with. So tonight, you can repeat this rose meditation out in the full moon, and you're going to see that what you're doing, it's going to be enhanced by the energy of the full moon. We are already in that container, so it's usually one day before, the day off, and the day after. So since yesterday, the full moon energy is available, but if you want to experience the peak, you can connect with the full moon tonight at 8:47 Pacific time. That is when the moon peaks. What does it mean that the moon is an Aries full moon energy? What does that mean? So each zodiac sign is going to bring some qualities. So this full moon is going to be great to work on boldness. Anything that you're starting, Aries is the initiator of the zodiac of all the signs, is the sparkle that creates, and it's really great for self-direction. Aries is a doer, is getting things done. So this full moon, what is marking a culmination point that is inviting you to take action, right? Is really, this is a great time for working the boundaries. I keep saying that, right? And it's also a really good time to start things that are your passions, things that are coming from your heart. So if you are on a process where you just ended up a cycle and you're starting a new one, this is a really, really good time to tune in with this energy and talk to the rose. Let the rose energy guide you. What is really in your heart? So you can feel protected. You can feel that this energy is protecting your field, that the rose is there to support you, and that you can make decisions with discernment, feeling protected and loved, but keeping your boundaries. So the new projects that you are starting are going to be very protected, and they are going to be well thought. And the new chapter is starting with really good foundations. Um, the the heightened brightness of the supermoon is going to maybe make us feel too emotional today, but it's really good for clarity. And it's very it's very important to allow ourselves to release things today courageously, right? Like things that have been holding us back, or things that have been not allowing us to be in our best version because we're afraid of saying something or doing something. It's like time to just let that go and allow that energy to just get processed and integrated. And it's really potent time to do all of that. So working on your boundaries, working on what your heart really desires, where are you going, but with a really good foundation. That's what Aries is bringing in this super full moon. So how can we use the rose medicine in this full moon and with this energy? We are using it as a bridge because Aries is very fiery, and it's gonna become a vessel, right? And it's gonna allow us to express passion with grace, and we're gonna start healing with strength and protecting the heart as we step forward. Because a lot of times, right, our fear is that something that our heart is too exposed, that we don't feel protected. So with the rose energy, it's like it's gonna give us that protection and that boldness to blast through with courage, with love, and discernment. So we feel protected. We can just walk through these changes from a very um, courageous place, right? I feel that I can do it because I'm protected, and we are at all times. But when you connect with the rose's energy, the rose is gonna really make you feel protected and safe, so you can just go through these changes very courageously. And the emotional and the physical aspect, right, is going to support the heart health because it opens up the circulation. And of course, for skin, rose, what it does is that it aids with brightness. So, like when my skin, uh, you want the skin to look glowy, well, rose is your best ally. And that's why I chose it as one of the big three ingredients in our base infusion for our serums day and night, because it's such a great, powerful medicine. And the emotional, again, right, balances courage with tenderness. So it's allowing me to act from intention because it's empowering me, but it's not from impulse. It's more from a very sacred, good foundation, knowing what's good for me and what is not good for me. And I'm going to say it, keep the boundaries with my heart completely open and loving. And from the spiritual aspect, right, the rose is going to shield your energy. Um, Towards your authentic desire. So you, like I said before, you're going to feel protected while you move towards your heart wants, keeping a good foundation with courage and keeping your boundaries and being bold and courageous to really attain what you're wanting. Very powerful time. So, like I said before, the roses have been used through time. It's very Venusian. It's beautiful. So rose garlands were crowned by lovers and poets and mystics, right? In the mystical traditions, we can see if we've been through cathedrals and like old places like that, especially in Europe, you'll see that in the windows there's a lot of roses in divine symmetry. You can find roses everywhere. And this is also, roses are connected to alchemy and Sufism, and it symbolizes the soul unfolding toward the union with the divine. So in the Sufism and also in alchemy, right, we're transforming our bodies and ourselves so that we transcend the duality of the illusion, that the ego, the I am versus the unity. So the rose represents that, right? I'm gonna go through all the petals until the very core of the existence. So this is a really mystical, amazing plant that I can sit here for days and talk about it. But what I've shared today is a little glimpse of my experience from working with roses for a very long time. Um, so what I wanted to say for the Libra season specifically, right? Knowing that the rose is going to support the body, the mind, and the spirit. Why the rose does that, and it's really interesting if we think about the element theory, right? There are 5 elements. We have the earth, we have the water, we have the fire, the air, and the ether. And each element corresponds to a system, and because we are made of the elements, right? So if we think about the earth is going to represent our diet, If we think of the water, it represents our hydration and what we need water to stay alive, water and oils to stay alive. If we think about the air, it's representing our respiratory system. If we think of the fire as the exercise, how we move our bodies, and the ether is our purpose. What is our calling in life? So the rose, it's going to correspond with the element of water. And the element of water has this feminine quality. And it's got to do with everything that it moists or everything that hydrates, everything that softens, right? Like when something is really dry and we put water in it, it just becomes softer. So if we think about this correspondence with the elements, rose is going to make us softer, right? And if you think about the skin, for example, putting rose in your skin is going to make it really hydrated, really moisturized, really soft. But it's also very protective and very, it's tonifying. So it's going to keep it toned. And that's why I love it as an ingredient and I use it a whole lot. If you drink it, it's going to have the same exact correspondence in your body, right? Is going to soothe the inflammation, right? Is softening, is releasing. It's going to just make you release that inflammation from in a very loving way, in a very mild way. You're not gonna purge or anything like that. So rose brings that softness, that yin. And for women that are looking to work with their feminine side, this is a great plant ally. So tuning into the softness, allowing the rose to guide them, bring that feminine side out. And also men that want to be more in touch with their feminine side, more in touch with softness, right? The masculine principle sometimes too harsh, too, I gotta provide, I have to take action. And tuning into this softer energy will allow them to open their hearts and be more in touch with their emotions and setting up the boundaries and expressing what they are normally not allowed to express because society limits us and gives us roles. um, so yeah, that's why if we use the element correspondence, rose is water element, even though it has also some air qualities because it has oil that is more volatile, right? It goes up and out with the fragrance and the aroma, and it can take you, right? When you smell a rose, you get transported into different places, and that is an air quality. But mainly the quality is a water element, a softening, um, smoothing things, right? If you just by seeing it, you already have that feeling of like peace and relaxation. So it's really interesting and amazing also to compare our friends or see these correspondences in nature with the elements because we are elements. And there's also a corresponding of the rose with the Libra, right? Both are governed by Venus. It has the harmony. That's the point, right? Libra is even like the sign like we can see here, right? Trying to keep the balance from one end to the other. So that is also what roses do. And that's why if we were to think of a corresponding plant to the season, rose is the perfect example. That is very Venusian, very beautiful, very inspiring harmony and inspiring love and protection and beauty. So those are the correspondences that I always like to think of and how they are impacting our bodies, our emotions, and our spirits. And this is the Rose Materia Medica that I prepared today for all of you. If we have any questions, I would love to talk about a little bit more. Um, you can type them in the chat. I'm going to give 5 more minutes before we close our Sagrada Full Moon session with Rose Materia Medica in Libra season and Aries super moon. You can look at my beautiful roses here. Okay, so it seems like everyone is content. I'm very happy and honored to be able to hold these sessions, starting the week and celebrating the full moon and celebrating the rose. Thanks for everything. Have a great day. Yes, same to all of you. Lots of love.